Storm Larry might end up becoming Major Hurricane Larry, as shown by this graph. The S is for Tropical Storm, the H is for Hurricane, and the M is for Major Hurricane. Major Hurricane means 110 miles an hour or higher. Hurricane means 74 to 110. Tropical Storm means 39 to 73, and Tropical Depression means 39 miles an hour or less. Wind speed probabilities for Tropical Storm. Wind speed probabilities for 50 knot. And here is 74 mile an hour wind probabilities. We almost guarantee that it's going to become a hurricane instead of the GFS model. I mean the Canadian model. The Canadian model doesn't think it's going to exactly become a hurricane, it doesn't appear. This is the model track guidance. Here's the GFS model intensity guidance and track guidance. And this shows it, and they all show it becoming a hurricane, which about 980 millibars is about Category 1 status on average. 965 is probably about Category 2. Anything below 960 is probably a major. Here's the marine surface plot. Here's the model intensity guidance. One of them shows it reaching Cat 5 at this point, which is obviously really bad. And that would be really scary. But they all show it reaching Category 1 status. So it's essentially, without a doubt, that this will become Hurricane Larry. So I will refer to it as Hurricane Larry for the rest of this video. Hurricane Larry is currently Tropical Storm Larry still, and here's the infrared satellite imagery. It's gonna load for a second. It's gonna probably take a while to load though. Let me just slow it down here so you can see it's exploding of thunderstorms up in the black areas. That's how you know that it's strengthening fast. Here's what the GFS model it thinks of it. And you can see it forms incredibly fast, strengthens fast too. Okay, it's reached major hurricane status probably. As you can see, it's dropped into the 950s. Here's wind probabilities. You can't. Okay, you know what? Hold on. Let's use this. Now we'll be able to see it a lot better. So you can see that it's heavy winds at this point. Very strong, and it's not going to really get to land too much. But the thing is that it could impact Canada as a extratropical cyclone. You can see that it's reaching like Newfoundland, and exactly this is what the GFS model thinks Hurricane Larry is going to do. Nothing really. Not even going to impact Bermuda. Bermuda might get storm surge from it. What about the Canadian model? The Canadian model does not show it being nearly as strong as the GFS model does. The GFS model is about the average for most of these model runs. The Canadian model also shows that its outer bands could be reaching Bermuda. And then it cuts off before we can see it impacting anywhere else, but we would assume that it's about an extratropical at that point. Here is the HMOD model, and this shows it. The model has to load it. It doesn't show it being as strong as some of the other models. Okay, so right here it's hurricane status. The purple is hurricane status. And you can see it actually loses hurricane status for a little bit, then it regains it and maintains hurricane status for a while. And it drops into the 960s, and the model ends right about here. Let me back it all the way up. Go to the HWRF model. This shows it having a much slower development, as you can see, but you can see it also shows it still reaching hurricane status. And it's actually getting pretty strong, but then the model cuts off. Here's the main HWRF model. This also shows it getting really strong. This is probably at least a major hurricane at this point. As you can see, it's showing about 96 knots, which I'm not sure how much that is in miles per hour, but I'd assume that it's got to be about 10 more, so it's about 106 miles an hour. So yeah, that's just about it. There's not really much else that I haven't shown yet, I don't think. Here's the wind history, by the way, if you want to see it. Arrival time of possible tropical storm winds, which nobody cares about because it's all going to be in the ocean. So I guess that's it. See y'all later.